Today, you're going to hear from Ryan Coe. I had the pleasure of interviewing him, and he's actually in my book called The Path to Reverse Multiple Sclerosis Naturally. And he's actually the first story in my book. He was on medication, so he did 10 years of infusions until one day he decided that, I think I want to watch these health documentaries on nutrition and food. And he watched a couple of them, and then he started seeing amazing results. And after 10 years of being on infusions, he stopped them and he realized how powerful nutrition and food is in healing multiple sclerosis. So have fun listening to this interview. Hi, Ryan. How are you doing?
Hey, Adrienne. I'm doing great. Thanks so much
Good.
for having me. This is exciting.
Yeah. So I wanted to invite you to my MS Reversal podcast. And I think you're one of the perfect candidates because you're actually, we talked about this, you're the first story in my book. So, this came out a couple years ago, The Path to Reverse Multiple Sclerosis Naturally. And I've got 11 other stories in here of people that reverse their MS, and you're the first story in there. And Ryan and I met through an MS group, and I was looking for people to have in my book because my passion is to show other people that reversing MS is possible. So Ryan reached out to me, and anyway, so Ryan, tell me a little bit about how this all started for you. Like, how old were you? What symptoms did you have? What year was it? Let's go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually have my copy right here of your book. And so
Nice.
I picked it up and reread through it. It's a great read. A lot of good information. And I love hearing these other stories as well. As far as me, if we go back to about 2010, I started to have some tingling in my right hand and in my right foot. Not very major, but just a subtle tingling that never went away. It wasn't my hand fell asleep, just shake it out. It was definitely always on my mind. I couldn't stop thinking about it because it was just this lingering numbness and tingling. So anyway, that kind of progressed into some pain in my side, and it was like a burning, painful, right in my side, on my right side. And then it started to spread up and down the right side of my body, down through my leg, up through my arm, the right side of my face. And during this, I had went and saw a doctor who initially misdiagnosed me with shingles, of all things. There was no evidence of that, but they thought, well, maybe with the pain, that's what it was. But that wasn't the case. I saw another neurologist who, I guess by this time I was also having some vision issues in my right eye. And so my neurologist appointment, she diagnosed me with neuromyelitis optica and wanted to get me on treatments right away, and I didn't feel comfortable with that. So that's when I went out to Mayo Clinic and spent some time out there and got an official diagnosis of MS. And that was, like I say, it started around 2010. I was 20, 21 or so, give or take, around there, 22, 23, early 20s. I'd have to do the math. But it wasn't bad enough that they wanted to start treatment right away.
How did you find out? Did you get an MRI or did you get a lumbar puncture? Or?
Yeah, good question. I did. I got a lumbar puncture. They did that, and they also did MRIs. Yeah, and that's when they discovered 3 lesions on my brain, and then several on my spine.
Okay. Were you surprised?
I, you know, I, I think my initial reaction, I didn't really know. It was like MS. I didn't know much about it. I didn't really feel sorry for myself, but I would say, yeah, probably a little surprised. You know, when you're that age, you just think, well, you're going to live forever. You know, you're healthy. You're going to
Yeah.
keep going. So it was a little bit of a mental shift, especially when I started having trouble walking. And, you know, when you're just doing the basic things like walking and having to think about it, having to think about moving your right leg. And then when you're, you know, trying to play cards, we'd have family euchre night or something. And I had a hard time shuffling cards. My right hand just wouldn't work. And so it was definitely a mental block. But I wouldn't say I got real negative or down.
Okay. All right.
I just kind of learned to live with it. It was difficult, but I think you know, I like to believe I had the right mindset.
Yeah. Okay. So after you were diagnosed, what happened after that? Did your doctor put you on drugs, or what'd you do?
Yeah, so essentially it started progressing pretty rapidly. I mean, I was feeling more and more pain, numbness, tingling, had the vision issues. I was getting headaches. So yeah, we jumped into, I was taking gabapentin, 1,800 milligrams a day, 3 times a day. And then we also started Tysabri infusions. And so I was doing these Tysabri infusions every 28 days. And those were the main things. And then I would take Tylenol, ibuprofen pretty much daily to help with pain as well.
So did any of that help?
Not that I could tell. I
Okay.
remember asking the doctor, you know, I said, I don't feel any different. How do we know it's working?
Mm-hmm.
I asked that specifically about the gabapentin, and
Mm-hmm.
the response was, well, you know, stop taking it and see what happens. So that wasn't super helpful. The infusions, I remember asking one of the nurses, you know, I told her, I said, I don't know, I don't feel any different coming and going. It could be water in the bag for all I know. It didn't. But they kept telling me, well, the point of it, or what it's for, is to slow the progression. So as long as you're not feeling worse, it's doing its job. Is basically what they said.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So how long were you on that protocol? And then what helped you figure out how to heal yourself?
Yeah, so I was on these infusions every 28 days for 12 years.
Wow.
Fast forward, you know, from 2010 to late summer of 2022, about 3 years ago. It was just one afternoon, I felt like God put it on my heart to watch this documentary. I don't even remember the name of the documentary. It was maybe on Netflix. You know, there's a bunch of them, like What the
Mm-hmm.
Health or one of these. But anyway, so I just, for no apparent reason, watched it. You know, and to kind of back up a little bit, I was at the time 250 pounds. I was also pre-diabetic. I
Mm-hmm.
had high blood pressure. I was on lisinopril, 40 milligrams a day for high blood pressure. My average was around 170 over 110. So I wasn't the kind of guy that was interested in nutrition. Let's just put it that way. So for me to watch this documentary, it was out of the blue, but I did. And I found it very interesting. And it led to me watching another one and another one. And then as you're watching them, you know, you'll see a book recommendation. So I buy the book, and it just snowballed. Every day I was reading books. You know, I got up to my goal, and still I try to read about 50 books a year. But I was doing the reading, I was watching the documentaries, and I started applying it to myself. And within about 3 months after I started to incorporate a healthier diet, you know, a more whole food, plant-based diet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the weight just started falling off. I mean, in total, I've lost 70 pounds. I'm down to about 180 now.
Wow.
And it fell off. I mean, it was like within a month, the first month I lost over 20 pounds. It just, and what a lot of people have backwards is they think, well, I need to work out.
Yeah.
But really, you need to fix the diet first, because the
Yep.
energy and motivation doesn't just show up. You're not going to just wake up one day and all of a sudden be motivated to change your lifestyle. But if you fix the food first, if you fix the nutrition piece, what I
Mm-hmm.
found was the weight started to fall off and the energy showed up. So after about a month of really just diet change and losing weight, all of a sudden, hey, I want to start moving again. And so then I started to exercise a little bit, and then all of a sudden my sleep starts to get better, and a lot of other benefits. But so anyhow, so about fall of 2022, I mean, within weeks, my symptoms started to disappear. You know, after a few weeks, my numbness, pain, tingling completely went away. My blood pressure is back to normal. The pre-diabetes, my blood sugar, glucose, everything's back to normal. And, you know, I think it was December that year or January, you know, so December 22, January 23, I did my last infusion and said that was it. And so I've been, since then, I've had no medications. I'm off all medications. No, I don't even take, you know, ibuprofen, Tylenol anymore. No infusions, nothing. And it's been coming up on 3 years now.
I love that. Let me ask you this. Did you ever go back to get another MRI to see if the lesions went away or no?
Yeah, I've had a couple since then, and no progression. There's no new lesions. There's still some of the scars, you know, of the old ones,
Okay.
but nothing new and nothing active right now.
Okay. And so today you feel like your old self, you know, in total health?
Yeah, you know, at age, I'll be 39 soon. You know, honestly, I feel better than even in my teens and 20s. You know, it's like, you know, back then you're staying active and stuff, so you might look and feel good, but you don't realize how good you can feel when you put it all together and you're eating right, you're moving. You know, I get up in the morning every day at about 4:45. And 3 days a week, I go to the gym and play basketball, full court, 5-on-5 for at least 2 hours. I play in the evenings, maybe once or twice a week. Same. You know, I just competed in a 3-on-3 basketball tournament a few weeks ago, and you know, my team, we're all close to 40, and we won the tournament, and we were playing against 20 and 30-year-olds. So I feel great. My body's doing great. I've got more energy than ever. We've got 4 young kids that, you know, I go out in the backyard or wrestle around the neighborhood. We play sports together, and I'm helping coaching. So yeah, that was a long answer to your question, but yes, I feel better than ever.
That's awesome. I mean, it just goes to show you how nutrition and diet plays such a huge role in our life, you know, in our health. And, you know, and I've talked to not only people with MS who have reversed all their symptoms, but with a lot of other autoimmune diseases too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it works with all sorts of, well, diabetes, right? I mean, it worked for you.
Yeah.
And what's also true, and I relate to this with you, is what you said is like you feel like you're still in your teens and 20s just because, you know, you're eating the right nutrition, you're feeding what your body needs, right? And it gives you more energy. So I totally believe what you said too is the nutrition comes first, and then you get the energy, and then you want to move more, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us, okay, you said you're working on a book. So you don't have a title yet, you said, but tell us about what it's about.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most people know they should eat better. And I think a lot of people want to change and they want to live this kind of lifestyle and they want to eat well and they want to have the energy and be able to do all these things. And you'll see, a lot of times we will start a diet, go really hard for a few weeks, and then life hits us and it falls off. And, we kind of revert back to our old habits and patterns. And then we're beating ourselves up and, telling ourselves we're a failure. And same thing with workout programs or whatever it is. And so the idea of this book is essentially a few parts. We're gonna start out by shaping that inner framework, that the right mindset, addressing victim mentality, discovering our purpose in life, talking about habits and our environments, and and then we're going to lay some foundations of nutrition, hydration, movement, sleep, sunlight, and nature. And then we go into a few other topics, but the final part of the book is how do we put it all together? Because if we focus on one area, say nutrition, if we fix the nutrition, but we're still stressed out all the time and we're struggling with our finances and how am I going to pay the bills this week? And I got to get my kids here or there. Or I'm working out all the time and my exercise is doing well, but I'm eating McDonald's or Burger King all the, it's really about putting it all together and then how do I stick with it? And that's the kind of the goal of this book is to just help people get it in place, but then understand how they can stick with it. And so that's what we're working towards. We're getting close. I think it'll be sometime this fall, maybe winter as it gets wrapped up.
I love that. Yeah, you said you just wrapped up chapter 20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's a lot of chapters.
Yeah, I think that's towards the end. I've got a couple left, and then I'm going to close it out, put a bow on it, and then get to work on, getting it published.
Good. Well, you'll have to keep me up to date with the title, but everybody, Ryan Coe, C-O-E, Coe.
Yep.
Is the author's name. Yeah. So you'll have to text me or something when it comes out because I want to share it.
Yeah, I will. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, is there anything you would like to tell anybody that might have MS? What advice would you give somebody that was just diagnosed?
Good question. I'd say it's really a matter of learning how to live with it and manage it. That initial shock of I have this can be overwhelming, but it's really about moving forward. It's we can't get hung up on it. What's there is there, but where do we go from here? And just taking it one day at a time, one step at a time, do the research, read the books, watch the videos, get in the Facebook groups, share with others, work with others. And you can find relief from these symptoms. You can find healing, and you can live a quality life. Don't beat yourself up when you slip up, right? We all have those days where you have that meal where you feel bad after, or you skip a workout, or you it's okay. It's really just about not missing twice, right? Just get back on track, make your next meal a good one, but just take it one step at a time. Don't beat yourself up. Keep moving forward. Stay positive and do your best. Just do your best.
Great advice. Great advice. Well, is there anything else you wanted to add, or is that pretty much it?
I think that's all I can think of. I appreciate you having me on here.
Yeah, you're welcome. I can't wait to get this podcast on so people can hear you. And thanks a lot, Ryan. I'm so glad you're doing well.
Yeah, thank you. You too. You too. And keep doing what you're doing.